What was your biggest treat yourself regret? I just passed my exams in university, so decided to treat myself to some Ben and Amp, Jerry's. I woke up covered in hives, vomiting, and burning up. Apparently I had an unknown allergy. It was the worst week of my life. Edit, for those curious. The allergist didn't find anything common that I was allergic to. This was over a decade ago and I've never had issues since. It may well have been a fluke or something else. I bought a pair of quad roller skates on a whim, meaning that I did no research. Turns out there is quite a bit of intricacy with skates. I had purchased a pair meant for speed, meant for indoor rinks. My intended use was for outdoor skating. This resulted in falling on my ass a million times outside and having zero control on my newly paved road. After buying softer wheels meant for outdoors. Wow, it's a huge difference. I should have done some research and saved myself a good chunk of money. I regret the spur of the moment purchase, but I am glad that I got the skates and new wheels. Edit, I purchased a second-hand pair of Rock GT50s from someone in town since the closest storefront with stock was over an hour away. It looks comparable to images online, so I assumed there were no modifications. I swapped the 95A wheels for a set of 78A. Thought I've never been on a cruise. I want to go on a cruise now. So booked a 2-week Caribbean cruise. In a suite. With the wife. Who, on arrival, decided she didn't like me anymore and spent 2 weeks avoiding me. So I spent 2 weeks on my own on this bloody ship. We're divorced now. Bought a pair of used snowmobiles for $2,000. Had them for 2 years. First year we both got the flu. The 1 week the snowmobile trails were open, so never used them. Second year my wife was pregnant, so we decided to sell them. Ends up one no longer wants to start and the other one runs but now has issues. Ended up selling them for $500. Never once used them besides unloading them from the trailer when we bought them. All you can eat sushi bar. Did the math on how much sushi I had to eat to save money from just buying the rolls individually. I hit my goal. But at what cost? I was trying not to throw up for the whole drive home. And spent the rest of the day in bed clutching my stomach and rethinking my life. Bought a PS3 when it came out and had to return it to pay rent. I once bought a good quality regulation pool table, 8 feet x 44 inches, with all the accessories for about $4,000. But after moving to a new location, I regretted the purchase because there was no room for it, other than to give up the dining room and replace the dining room chandelier with a billiards light fixture. Ate decadently to reward myself for exercising, completely undermining my efforts to get in shape. Bought a telescope. But then I needed a camera to take pics. Then I needed a camera and smaller scope to guide it. Then I needed a better, more expensive mount. Then I needed another camera to help set up the more expensive mount. Then I needed cases and storage for this stuff. And another camera. And a star tracker. Then all of a sudden I have thousands in gear that I've used exactly never because it's freezing and cloudy most of the good viewing season anyways. I bought a laptop from Razer. Worst decision ever. Already had to send it back to them once. Now it's just out of warranty and having more problems. Never again. Bought a BMW 135i when I already had a perfectly good Nissan 350Z that was paid off. I was young and dumb and had just started making serious money for the first time in my life. So when I looked at that monthly payment I said this is fine. I can totally make this. Not taking into account all of the other bills that can suddenly crop up. One of the worst decisions I ever made. Easily. Getting the Cyrus XM deal, $30 6 mo, for my car since when I do drive. It's cross-state. And then forgetting to cancel threatened to cancel. So I got charged $120 for the next 6 months. Went to Vegas and spent more money than I had intended. Had a blast, but flash forward a month later I had nothing to pay my car payment, and in Florida if you are late 1 month they can repo your car. They did. I spent around £300 on all the Talisman board games and a further £200 on a custom made box to keep them all in. Largely due to COVID. I've played them once. Bought a sandwich after work. Nearly choked on it. Just binge eating. Pretty much everything I impulse bought while unemployed during quarantine. I've been unemployed for over a year now. And hadn't bought anything nice for myself in months. While buying groceries, I saw some pomegranates. And I decided I deserved a treat. I found the biggest one in the pile. Looked great. And bought it. When I cracked that fricker open that night, it was rotten inside. With no sign it had gone bad on the outside. I actually cried. Because I felt I had wasted precious money I shouldn't have. Edit. To anyone wishing to buy me a replacement pomegranate, please consider donating that money to local food bank in your area instead. I appreciate the offers, but I'd feel bad accepting money. Especially with so many different people asking. I'm currently typing this on a $850 phone. There is no way I can justify this. I bought it out of peer pressure. After years of wanting to experiment with my hair, I finally convinced myself that dyeing my long healthy brown hair purple was the best way to treat myself. I was originally given a price of $150 give or take depending on amount of dye used. Anyway, when she was done styling, I was happy and it looked pretty. I got to the counter and the total comes to $500. Now, I'm not a confrontational person. Also, I was young and kind of stupid to not argue with them. So I just paid, left a $50 mandatory gratuity and left. I know. For the next 2 weeks everything that came in contact with my hair was stained purple. Every time I washed my hair it bled purple. My shower was stained. The skin on my back, pillowcase, sheets, the back of my shirts, purple. The worst part was that my long beautiful healthy brown hair was a heaping faded broken pile of straw after those 2 weeks. So I went out and bought a box dye similar to my own color. Dyed my hair back and swore off ever dyeing my hair ever again. Edit. Deleted extra words. Got a promotion that meant I would be driving most days to an office. After commuting by train for years. Bought myself a Tesla for the new ride. Took delivery on the 14th of March last year. Haven't driven to the office once. Between the down payment and the monthly payments since, I've spent about $7 a mile to own the thing. Bought a laptop for $1,000 a few months ago. I've used it like 3 times. And now it's too late to return it. I dropped $1,000 on a gaming PC when I was a sophomore in college. Took out a credit card to put it on that and ended up finally paying it off like 2 years later. Having paid probably an extra $300 in interest. But learned a valuable lesson. And also had a better PC than all my friends. Half my games on my Steam account. When will I ever have the time to play all these? My 73 Squishmallows. Bought myself luxurious body gel. I used it one time. Got an allergic reaction. My left leg doubled in size because of how swollen it was. It hurt. The bottle was not even 90 milliliters. And cost me more than 180 kr. Frick you, company that made this bullpoop. My darling boyfriend got into streaming when the pandemic hit and we went into lockdown. He gained a small following speedrunning games. He had some fun. During the height of all this, I thought I'd give it a try. I streamed my Sims builds like once or twice. But for a multitude of reasons just thought it wasn't for me. I just swapped out my laptop for my BFs when I streamed. My boyfriend has an Elgato capture thing. When he saw that I wanted to get into it, he bought me one as well. Shit was not cheap as the world was shut down and everyone and their mother wanted one of these things. I didn't qualify for unemployment and he was making only about 2/3 of his normal paycheck from pandemic relief unemployment, so I was not happy at all. His reasoning was that we can both stream at the same time and do dual streams. He had such good intentions, but for someone who knows so much about the technology and setup, he ought to have known that we combined simply don't have a powerful enough computer to dual stream the way he wanted to. I know he just wanted this to be a fun activity we could both do together. So he treated himself, and me I guess, to a second Elgato. It's never been used. Now we are back to work and he doesn't stream at all. Actually quite recent. I got 2 extra vacation days to be used in December. Couldn't go anywhere. So I figured I'd get a nice hotel room and try a spa day. The tub wasn't big enough to relax in. The mushrooms I cake into didn't work. So for the first time in a decade I had to wait until the next half hour for new stuff to be on. I can't wait to be disappointed by the continental breakfast I said aloud to myself at 10 PM. It was a pre-packaged muffin and 2 yogurts in a brown bag. Edit. Mushrooms I came into. A friend offered them last minute and I'd never tried them. Minecraft story mode was all excited. I won $50 in Halloween raffle, and why the frick did I not research that hot ass garbage first? Overnight in a hotel room with a professional escort. My brother posted a picture of a ninja motorcycle on FB with the caption "Treat yourself." I was surprised because I'm really into motorcycles and I had never heard my brother express any interest whatsoever. Bye bye. Fortunately, other than the damage to his shoulder, he was fine. I bought a used bass amp on eBay. It was a little pricey, but after hundreds of eBay purchases I didn't think anything could go wrong. Amp showed up broken, advertised as working condition. Took it to a shop. Turns out the seller had gutted it and poorly replaced a bunch of the parts with a guitar amp. It was a bass amp. So once I spent money to fix it, it was still unusable. I got into it with the eBay seller and they threatened to come to my house and fight me. All because I wanted to treat myself on a new amp on my birthday. Every time I've eaten an entire bag of dried mangoes in a day. They're fairly small bags, but still more fiber than one day's worth. So it all comes out at once the next morning. Edit. Great. The first post comment I've made to break 100 upvotes. And it's this. Bought a ticket to a concert as a birthday present to myself. Got way too drunk and got a DUI and totaled my car. After getting another DUI, I realized I had a problem. And am over 3 years sober now. I took my 2 best friends to Vegas for my 21st birthday. I paid for almost everything. We stayed for 2 nights. The first night, they got into a fight so bad that I left the hotel room crying. Essentially shaming them into pulling their poop back together. Things were still tense, but we got through the night. The next day we went to brunch. And everything was going fine until we got back to the hotel. I started feeling really sick and ended up spending the rest of the day in the room sleeping and taking Tums while they went out for dinner. I think I need a redo lol. IDK if this would be called a treat yourself matter, but here you go. I was feeling depressed for years now and it was pretty overwhelming. I was very tired and I just wanted everything to stop. With that thought, I literally ran away from my responsibilities that I felt were weighing on me. Going on cafes alone, etc. Well, those did not happen without me skipping school. Sure, it was good and all, but now I had to repeat a new year and had to pay for the compensation fee in our uni. Sad to say, I felt like what I did wasn't worth it at all. I guess it's true when they say you reap what you sow, and what I reaped ain't good. Every time I've bought a hanky panky toy, it's great until I nut. Then it's great. I spent $200 on this. I bought my first new truck. I use the bed a lot and can easily afford it. And stuck that money into investments. Lesson learned, and I tell myself all the time to just shut up and enjoy it. But never again. Had some Miss Vicky's New York cheddar chips last night, and damn if I wasn't sweating on the toilet for an hour.
Hi there. Look, if you enjoyed the video, well, why not go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to Reddit Stories. In fact, if you want to see even more responses to this thread, well then, take a look. There's the link in the description below. And remember, show some love to those authors while you're there. And I look forward to seeing you next time.